Alright, hello everyone, and welcome to another 3v3 fastest map on StarCraft Brood Wars Remastered. We're going to go ahead and jump to a little bit longer of a replay. This is replay number 320, and this is a game I hosted, so we're going to get to see some different players go at it in this game. I believe I saw Jagogo in another game that I casted. Don't remember how he played. That's someone that looks kind of familiar. But let's go ahead and jump into this one. We're going to get things speeded up while we get started. All right, team number one in the bottom right corner, we've got Jefe Supremo, the gray Protoss. It's interesting. I don't think gray is an option as color anymore, but I kind of like it. It looks pretty slick. All right, also on his team is Magui Warax, the teal Zerg, and then also on the team is Brainfast, the, let's call that pink, Protoss. All right, and the other team over here in the top left corner is Jagogo, the yellow Protoss. And then on their team up in the top right corner is Blue Jays 99. And in the middle left is Scoot TMX5S, the magenta Protoss. All right, so no Terrans in this game, if I'm mistaken. We're just seeing Zerg, we're just seeing Protoss. All right. So we'll see how these two races battle one another. I know Protoss probably has an earlier advantage, but then after that, the Zerg will probably be pretty strong. All right, so here we go. Scoot's moving out. Looks like he's getting ready to attack. We've also got this guy with some zealots. So he's moving in. So while we watch this, do our APM check, so we see the team on the bottom, everyone over 100, 2 at 130, one at about 170, 180, and the other team, very, very slow. No one above 80 there. So if you're looking at APM, you'd see this. You think this bottom team might have it. All right. So magenta moves in. They see there's a sunken colony there. He's going to wait for yellow to come in to help him. Oh, he's got a couple of his units in there as well. All right. So we've got plenty of units. I like how they differentiate when you select them here, so you can see who's who. All right, so they've got plenty of guys down here. Let's see what they do. This guy's trying to get... No, he's not even trying to get another sunken down. He does have some Zerglings there, but that seems to be a real mistake. I don't know what they're doing. They just need to go in and get the sunken. What are they doing? All right, so they finally go in and get the sunken. A little bit of a weird way to go about it. All right, so going for now the spawning pool. They're ignoring the Zergling, who's doing pretty decent work on them. Alright, here comes Brainfast to try to save the day. They're probably going to get this spawning pool, which is really bad for Teal, but kind of feel like they could have done more damage there. Alright, so here come even more units in. Alright, so it looks like Brainfast was able to come in with Jefe and sort of stabilize this guy. He's getting another hatchery up, and now he has no spawning pool, so he's going to be very far behind. Only 11 workers as well. Alright, so over here, we're seeing this guy macro up. We're about at that 5-minute mark, and we'll check in on upgrades. Alright, so here we are. This guy's got plenty of Zerglings now. They're moving out. I actually think a counterattack might be in order, if they wanted. In the meantime, Brown is up here completely untouched. He's got plenty of defense. He's getting his lair up. I'd be very worried if I were the other team, seeing what he might be doing. Alright, so we've got some posturing going on. Here's pink. We've got yellow with some army. We've got magenta with some army. Everyone's just sort of macroing up now, but we're all posturing with our armies. There we are. We have sort of a wide view here. But APM difference is just so shocking. Alright, so here comes magenta. They're sort of taking over the middle. Well, people are thinking about taking over the middle. Alright, so here comes gray. He's moving his units up to the middle. Yellow's moving his units up to the middle. So here's a big battle line that's being drawn here. In the meantime, let's take a quick peek in. Oh, wow! Magenta with the Reaver drop on Teal, so the pressure continues. Didn't even see him getting ready to do that. I'm glad we caught it at the last second. He's continuing to kind of put pressure on him with those zealots. I mean, he's down to 17 workers. It's pretty good. They're continuing to put him really far behind. All right, in the meantime, we're still just sort of sending units up to where we want them to be. All right. Here's magenta. All right, so now's a really good time to look at the upgrades. We're seeing yellow, brown, magenta building a lot of things. We see brown getting their upgrades. Yellow's getting upgrades. Magenta's already got storm, we know that. Oh, no, they have reavers, never mind. We're seeing a lot of upgrades from gray, so we're seeing everyone start to macro up and get stronger. The upgrades are going to be huge with these zealots because the zealots are, you know, everyone has them. All right, there's leg technology being developed. Here's some dragoons being mixed in. This guy's starting a new base over here. That's actually a good idea. All right, so all quiet on the Western Front at the moment. I kind of feel like pink and gray have the bigger armies at the moment. That doesn't mean anything. All right. I have to keep an eye on magenta and see what they're doing. Teal's still very far behind. All right, there we go. Just drop them somewhere. Alright, trying to keep a eye on what that shuttle's doing. I don't see anyone on the mini-map flying around doing anything. Yeah, very slow pace to start. Alright, we'll kind of speed things up to see if people end up attacking. Are we seeing upgrades starting to happen? Alright, so here comes an assault. Gray and yellow say, it's time to go. Alright, so it's kind of hard to see what's happening in this giant battle. We'll just sort of see who comes out on top. Looks like yellow and gray are the main ones sort of battling it out, but we've got magenta over here as well. Alright, magenta drops off the reaver to kind of help with this. It's already got 14 kills, which is crazy. Alright, here comes pink. A little bit late on the support, but he does have tons of zealots. This is going to be a little bit scary for magenta. There goes the reaver. Alright, so he doesn't really have too many units to defend himself now, and here comes pink! Oh, Brain Fast is coming in hard! Brain a little too fast. Alright, so they're going after the forge now, they're just streaming in. Doesn't really have too many cannons either. It looks like he's actually targeting these forges, which is an interesting play. Just trying to make sure he gets rid of all the cannons. Alright, he sort of stationed them up over here, so they're kind of out of reach. Oh, he does get a Dark Templar out. That is smart. They're trying to do their damage, but they're really taking out a lot. Oh, there's a storm by yellow. He's trying to come in and take out some of these zealots. It's actually helping quite a bit with the Dark Templar and the storms. But now here comes gray. A little bit extra support. Alright, so we've got to keep an eye on Brown. I was about to say, Brown hasn't been doing much anything, but he looks like he's about ready to make a big old drop. Alright, so they're continuing to put pressure. I don't know if they have any detectors, though. That could be a problem. This guy might go to town. Alright, here comes Brown. So while that battle is going on, there's plenty of cannons here, but if he just drops in right there, I think it'll be fine. Oh, he's trying to get greedy, and he's going to get killed. Oh, Brown, you greedy! You're so greedy! Oh, he gets in, but there's so much defense, and everything is going to die. Oh, he does get some of the probes. He's down to 38, but I don't think that's enough. Oh, Brown took all that time to set that up and just ran it into destruction. Oh. Oh, that hurts my StarCraft heart right there. I cannot believe that. Wow. Alright, so in the meantime, pink finally stabilizes from with a little help from yellow. Oh my goodness, Brown. I just cannot believe that he did that. He's got 1-1s on Hydralisks. If I were him, I wouldn't even try to do another drop. He almost supply blocked himself by losing all those overlords too. What was that guy thinking? Oh my gosh, I'm just like in shock. Alright, so in the meantime, Gray just going for massive gateways. He's got 1/1s. Alright, here comes... Oh, the Dark Templar are now coming in on pink. He's got cannons right there. I'm surprised they're not taking those out. Alright, there they go. The gateways are kind of blocking that. Alright, so he's got them kind of in the middle of the map. That's one thing that Teal should at least be doing, is moving some overlords up. I don't really know what Teal's thing is right now. He's just so hurt from early pressure. Alright, here come the Corsairs to start trying to take out the overlords. He doesn't have speed on the overlords either, so they're so... he's doing a pretty good job defending them now. It's probably something that's been happening that we haven't really been seeing. Alright, here comes a giant Templar drop. Alright, here comes yellow. They're kind of zeroing in on pink now. And Gray's going to have something to say about that. Alright, he's moving in. I don't think he has detectors again. So here come the Dark Templar. Oh man, they're going to have a field day. Look at the Templar just surrounding and destroying these Dragoons. Oh my goodness. Alright. Oh man, and that's another drop on Teal. They're just adding insult to injury on this guy. They're basically keeping it a 2v3, but at some point, like, come on, man. Go after someone else. This guy's just been destitute the whole game. Down to 11 drones. This guy's trying to get up more gateways. He's got a Reaver coming out. Yellow's got 2s on his attack now. And now this guy's just working on protecting himself from drops, but he's not really building anything. So this yellow, brown, magenta team is starting to show why they're having the higher APM. Just a little bit smarter in what they're doing. Alright, here, now he finally gets the detectors, so that's going to take the advantage of the Dark Templar away. He's got 2s across the board on his stuff. So this might be Gray being a little bit dangerous here. He should move the rest of his guys in. I don't know what he's doing. Alright, in the meantime, Brown continues to be untouched up here. Now he's making Guardians, Devourers, 2/2s on his Hydralisks. We'll keep an eye on him because we got to feel like he's going to do something soon. Alright, this guy's still behind in upgrades, but it's sheer numbers now that are sort of winning the day. Man, Gray could just use any amount of help from his teammates. My goodness. Alright, here come the Guardians in on Peach. Oh my goodness. If he had been smarter earlier on, Brown could have ended this game much sooner. Alright, so he's moving in on them with Guardians. He's got Devourer support. Peach has just got absolutely nothing for this. This guy's really, really slowed down. And that's when all those cannons just sort of mean nothing when you've got Guardians. Especially so many Guardians. Alright, so that's happening. Yellow's continuing to hold the middle. Now he's getting cannons down. He's trying to send Dark Templar in just like he had going against him. But I don't think that's going to work. Magenta. I don't really know what Magenta's doing. He's kind of been sitting around doing nothing. Yellow's been pretty untouched. Yeah, they've just been able to generate no pressure on this team. They've been completely untouched the whole game. Teal has basically been a non-factor. I mean, what is he doing down here? He's just sitting there doing nothing now. Now you have had time to be a contributor. Like, I am boggled here. I mean, he's got 33 drones now. They're not going after him anymore. Alright, Brown now is just walking out. These Guardians just absolutely destroying this guy's base slowly and steadily. They look like they're getting ready to move in on Gray. I can't believe this game is much longer. It just seems like this is not going to be too much longer. All right, let's speed up things. Guardians continuing to take things out. They've got the middle completely taking care of business here. All right, here they go. Possible drop by yellow. He does get it on gray. My goodness. So the destruction continues. This is just like a slow and steady assault. Very lopsided in terms of team. My goodness. All right. Brainfast finally leaves the game. He's trying to build down here and get something going, but he cannot. Here they are slowly moving in on gray. Now teal, who is continuing to do nothing to defend himself. There he goes. Sending in some Mutalisks now. They'll easily be killed. They do have 1/1s. You know, good for him. I mean, these Hydralisks, he's got all these groups of Hydralisks just sitting here doing nothing. He is supply blocked, but, I mean, come on, man. Alright. So he's sending some units in to try to defend himself. They are pretty well upgraded. So this guy's not completely worthless. But still having trouble with his economy. Yeah. Gray kind of helps there to try to stabilize that, but they're just really getting ready for the next assault. Look at all these hatcheries by Brown. That's an impressive number. I guess that's what happens when you don't get touched all game. This guy's got a nice base too. That's probably how I would build things, but I don't think utilizing the space. Looks like Magenta's sort of utilizing the space a little bit better. You see the difference? He's got more gateways, he's just utilizing the space better. We're here. Similar build, but just sort of feels like this is a little more compact, a little more safe. I feel like you could drop on him still, if you wanted to. Alright, so here comes the assault on gray. I mean, it's not like this was going to ever be stopped. So gray trying to fight his way out of here to try to defend himself, but he's not going to be able to do it. Alright, so Jeff Supremo taps out. And I guess, is Teal really, after all of this, going to make them... Nope, he does leave. Alright, there we go. Alright, so that's the end of that game. Wow. Lopsided teams can make a huge difference. So that's what we're seeing in that one. My goodness gracious. I really don't think that team got even touched. Like, they had a little... That one pressured fight against Magenta, like, kind of like in the midpoint of the game, like 10 minutes. And then after that, they were on their back heels the whole time. Wow. Alright, well, thanks for joining me for that one. I hope you have a great weekend. I'll try to get a few more up before the week starts and things get real busy. But, yeah, like I said, enjoy yourself, and I'll catch you on the next one.